Welcome to Uncaged, a show that celebrates thought leadership from today's top business leaders. The program provides a voice to amazing executives from around the globe who are shaping the world of business today and mapping the path to the commerce of tomorrow. Today, we're speaking with Michelle Perez Barruos. Michelle, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Ben. Likewise. Thanks so much for having me.
So Michelle is the SVP of Partnerships and Business Development at Player2. Player2 is an agency specializing in solving business needs and reaching new audiences through gaming, eSports, and emerging digital trends. Michelle has a really great background in the areas of licensing, partnerships, and obviously marketing and strategic consulting. And we'll talk a little bit more in depth really about the licensing and partnerships elements for sure, but also talk about what Player2 is up to. But before we get there, Michelle, tell us a little bit about you and your career.
So yes, I have more or less 20 years of experience as a manager, entrepreneur, and consultant in the video games industry and media industries as well. Also, most recently, I've been involved with Web3 projects, also advising on virtual fashion and also gaming projects. Very exciting this last couple of years, but yeah, that's the bulk of my experience is with video games. And I also serve as an advisor and small investor in other like tech projects, edtech, with long, stronger focus as well on strategic partnerships and innovation.
Excellent. So, tell me a little bit more about what you and the team are up to at Player2.
Great. So indeed, I recently joined Player2 as VP Partnerships and Business Development. We are a marketing agency focusing on bridging the gap between brands and the gaming industry. The video game audiences are huge and are super good quality, and it's somewhere where brands want to be. They want to be there, and we help them get there. So we work with IP owners, with video game publishers, with esports teams, content creators to build an ecosystem where the synergies between brands and organizations and video games make sense and are authentic and reach the right audiences.
That's a great description, Michelle. And certainly we're all playing more video games. It's such a key part now of entertainment in general. But as you look into the landscape right now of what's happening in the video gaming space and licensing and partnership opportunities in general in the space for brands, what are you seeing that people are really interested in right now?
First of all, the market potential is so big. With over 3.2 billion gamers worldwide, the video games industry is a growing market. And from also a revenue perspective, in 2025, there are more than $210 billion in revenue forecasted. So,
wow.
So the opportunities to expand here are endless, are huge. So there is, in terms of partnerships and trends, there is a little bit for everyone, right? You have from the hardcore gamers with the classic games where you have like all the esports ecosystem building and working and growing. So you have a certain type of partnerships that are more suited to that type of audience. Then there are the casual gamers and the mobile games, which are more like maybe more mass markets to reach, as the word says, a more casual public, where also other types of brands can work. You can have partnerships around sports IP, around music IPs, kids IPs, and we really, each time we face a new project with a client, we make an audit, study well the target audience that the client wants to reach, and then we adapt the strategy to suit that audience. So yeah, I think the market is full of opportunity, and it's a matter of really identifying the right objectives of our partners and the right audiences that go with that strategy.
Yeah, that's great. And certainly I know that every brand that we talk to as of late is thinking about what they do with things like the metaverse, Web3. I think there's been some kind of question marks on some of those areas, but gaming for sure is on everybody's minds. Everyone wants to figure out what to do in that space.
Yes, and both things are converging right now. Some of the biggest Web3 platform, what they are now englobing as Web3, can be things as Roblox, even Fortnite. Sometimes they call it a sort of metaverse. So there is a lot of hype around that. Brands now want to be part of that ecosystem. So they try to find the right partners to build things for them and do the right marketing programs and execute on that. But of course, it always needs to be authentic, because the gamers really know when it's fake and when it's not. They want a real experience. So if brands want to be present in this type of world, we need to make sure that we have the right partners to build those experiences in these ecosystems.
So, Michelle, it's been a really interesting moment, certainly, that we've been living through over the last several years. The gaming space, though, probably has continued to grow more than any of the other industries over the last several years. But I mean, tell me a little bit how things like the pandemic impacted the work that you guys are doing and perhaps offered opportunities.
Indeed, it's, I mean, on a personal level, a big part of our work is networking and relying on our contacts and building those relationships to make things happen. So the fact that, for so long we haven't been able to go to events or trade shows and build those partnerships in a normal way has made things maybe a little bit more difficult on one hand, but then on the other, I think it's been great because it has given us more flexibility and has made us really think out of the box. And definitely the fact that people were at home has also permitted that there were more digital contacts, digital interactions through gaming, through the digital experience in these new ecosystems that have arisen in the last few months.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Michelle, you're so involved in the industry and what's happening. And here we are in 2023. What are you hearing? What are you seeing? What are you guys involved in this year? And how do you think this year is going to evolve?
Player 2 is definitely looking more into the Web3 space with the right partners and the right, not just clients, but also partners in crime to keep building. I think it's a time of building and creating new things. So we have an amazing creative team that's great at storytelling and really putting together the right programs for our brands. So definitely Web3 will be something for us, and licensing. That's also one of the reasons that I recently joined the company, because that's, say, the core of my experience is there. So we really want to deliver not just deals, but also strategic thinking about how to do inbound licensing, outbound licensing, how we can do the right collaborations. And of course, we have the business acumen and legal acumen to build those deals in an effective way.
So, Michelle, let me ask you a little bit more about the licensing elements. Give me an example of a brand doing a licensing deal inside of a game. What would that look like?
So I'll tell you about my stellar moments in my career. It's like one of the things I'm most proud of. With Gameloft, I spent a few years at Gameloft, which is one of the biggest mobile game publishers around. We did the Minion Rush game, which is one of the most downloaded games in history. This was a collaboration between Universal and the movie Despicable Me 2. And in partnership with Gameloft, we built this mobile game, Minion Rush, which is a runner, super fun. It really captured the authenticity of the brand in an amazing way. The production was a very, very interesting process. And that is a good example of how an IP collaborated with a video game publisher to produce an amazing game. That's a full branded game. Of course, then there are other types of collaborations where we can create in-game events for a brand and a certain title. For example, with Player 2, we represent BCRF, which is Breast Cancer Research Foundation in the States. And we did a special event in Street Fighter, which is a very well-known games by others. So all the characters were dressed in pink. So it was a limited time event, but it was done in order to raise money for BCRF, and it was a fantastic project.
That's excellent. And I think that if there's any one area where we're going to see significant growth in the metaverse, it's going to be in the gaming space. I mean, it makes sense. I think some of the stuff we see in the metaverse, we think, oh, that's still a ways away. But the gamers for sure are embracing this stuff and wanting to push into this world. And brands that really want to get in, that's the avenue, I think. That is the space to play.
Indeed, at the beginning, there was a lot of skepticism from gamers towards the crypto implementation into games, but now we can see more and more new blockchain-based games published every day. There are many like indie studios that are coming out with their own productions that are built on blockchain, and it is amazing. Even I've been hearing about some publishers that are actually getting some like external help to translate their games into blockchain, to like classical games that were just normal Web2 stuff. They are also taking them to Web3. So yeah, the trend is clearly there.
I love it. Well, Michelle, it's been great talking with you. If there's someone out there that wants to learn more about how brands and companies and can get more involved in the gaming world or other forms of partnerships with gaming, where should they find you? Where's the best place to get in touch with you?
LinkedIn. I'm a big LinkedIn fan, and I answer all my messages, and I try to answer everyone. So yeah.
LinkedIn is the place. I love it. Well, Michelle, it's been great talking with you. We've been speaking with Michelle Perez Barruos, and we've been talking to her really about what's happening in the gaming space, really kind of some of the big moves that you're going to see over the next year in Web3 and the use of the metaverse in terms of really giving brands and companies an opportunity to partner with gaming developers and gaming companies for new experiences, new types of interactions. And Michelle has a ton of experience, and Player 2 is well situated in that space to work through all the lovely issues that you have with licensing and partnerships and all of those fun things. Michelle, thank you so much for being on Uncaged Day, and we look forward to having you back.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Brent.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.